Hello there, and welcome to another Nerdvengers Den of Nerds Live. Stream. And don't worry, I'm on my way. Yeah! Oh! What up? Hello! And welcome! Welcome to the stream! It's a Friday! You made it through the week! I made it through the week! We made it through the week! Warner Brothers barely made it through the week. We're gonna talk about it, man. Yesterday, craziness coming out from behind the scenes at Warner Brothers Discovery. All kinds of crazy stuff going down. What does it mean? What are they gonna do? What's this Zaslav and DC? We're gonna get into it live. We're gonna talk about it as a community. We're gonna see how we feel, and we're gonna argue, get mad. We'll save time for call-ins. We'll initiate the gambling. It's gonna be a good-ass Friday show. I don't want to hear any complaining. I'm pulling into the tower. I'll see you in a second. Turn it up. It's not loud enough until they're complaining. Are they complaining? Initiate the gambling. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Me llamo Josh. ¿Y tú? Yeah. I can't believe it, man. Look, many of you guys probably saw a lot of the different news, the info that happened yesterday with regards to Warner Brothers Discovery. And, you know, it was one of those situations, man, where I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't help myself, you know? As I was watching all of the news trickle in about Warner Brothers, I found myself, well, frankly, grinning like the cat that ate the canary, man. Like, it was hilarious. And I know that, you know, it's people's jobs, it's people's careers, it's, you know, this, that, second, and the third, all of these different reasons as to why we should be sensitive about these sort of things and, you know, blah, 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 blah. But I couldn't help myself. I found it to be absolutely hilarious yesterday, watching it all go down and just trying to make sense of it. Because Warner Brothers, what a situation. What a tailspin, roller coaster ride, whirlwind, tornado of a situation when it comes to Warner Brothers. And so we're going to break it down, man. You might be like, what? Two major articles came out in the past couple of days, and a lot of talk about things that were going on behind the scenes yesterday. Zaslav actually in a meeting reinvestigating what to do with the Flash. And so we're going to get into that. We're going to talk all about that, okay? I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you had a good week. And today's going to, I mean, I feel as though it's going to be a little, I don't even know what the word for it is. We'll see. We'll see how contentious it gets. We'll see how flagrant we get on today's show. So before we get into any of that juice, I'm going to break a rule, okay? I'm going to break a rule because as a rule, look, I get approached about a lot of different things, charities, GoFundMe, things of that nature. And as a rule, I usually just say hard no to all of it, okay? And this is just because, like, there's honestly a lot, and you can't be everything to everybody all the time. And so just to kind of safeguard myself and also, like, make people understand, not play favorites, etc., etc., I don't usually talk about, like, GoFundMes or things of that nature. However, when it comes to Santa Claus, it's possible that maybe even my 3 sizes too small heart just still has such an affinity and love for Santa that I'm going to break a rule. As many of you already know, Star Wars Santa, who is a member in the community, does a lot of his own content. I believe he and his father recently got into a car accident, okay? And they currently have a GoFundMe to help with medical expenses. And so, yeah, I'm just going to break a rule and say that if you've got a little bit extra money, and even if you had a little cash that you were going to throw at the stream today, save that money and go check out that GoFundMe. I know people in the community will be able to help you out. You can check it out on Discord. I think they will have access and give you the link there, and I'm sure people will probably drop it in the chat today. I donated myself, and I hope everything is okay over there. I really don't know any of the details. I just kind of found out about it yesterday, so yeah, tough one. If you can help, it goes a long way. Go see if you can support Santa. Santa's a good dude, man. You know what I mean? Santa's a good dude. So prayers and whatever we can do to help out would probably be beneficial. So now, moving on to things that are not as cool as Santa. Let's talk about Warner Brothers, man. Let's talk about Warner Brothers. So a couple of things that I think we need to frame for the discussion in order to be able to talk about the things that happened yesterday. There's a couple of big articles that are all coming out from the Hollywood trades. Okay. Now, I'm really curious. And actually, let me see something here. I want to adjust something here. It looks like that's good. Okay, that's good there. Still a little bit of technical difficulties from yesterday. But here's the base question that I want to start with. And this is actually kind of an odd question. And so I really want to open this up to you guys, and I want to get your take on this, okay? Do we all know, like, what the Hollywood trades are? Does everybody know what the Hollywood trades are? Like, I want to get us on the same page. So, do you guys know what the Hollywood trades are? Yes or no? Throw it into the chat. So, some people know, some people don't. Okay. Let's start with the sort of a brief definition. Okay. Well, this is good to know. Honestly, dirty. Okay, this is actually good to know. This is good to know because this will help maybe shore up some of the confusion about this. Okay. So, you're deaf of Hollywood? Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. So here's the thing: the Hollywood trades are a bunch of outlets like Deadline, Variety, The Wrap, maybe a couple others that I'm missing. Am I missing any of them? You let me know, chat. So they're publications that cover the industry of what? Entertainment, essentially, mostly Hollywood. That's why they're called the Hollywood trades. Okay. Now, all of these publications have relationships with the studios. But what does that mean, relationships with the studios? What that means is that the public relations office of the studios, and even in some instances, higher-ups at the studios, have a direct line to the publication and vice versa. And how many of you guys were watching Nerd Theory a couple of weeks ago when Mark was on? Okay? Mark said something really interesting in that discussion. And what he said was, if the mouse calls a Hollywood trade and says, take the article down, they take the article down. That's what I'm talking about with the relationships between the trades and the studios, okay? Now, Mark went on to say that if an article from the trade that's seemingly disparaging comes out and the studio doesn't ask for it to get pulled down, what he said was that that is an instance in which the studio is gauging fan reaction and trying to see how a piece of news lands. Okay? And so what that would mean is that when a lot of negative articles come out in a studio, from the trades specifically, right? And when the studio is, let's say, allowing that to happen, it is to gain information. Okay? Now, the reason I want to start there, and the reason I think it's really important, and what I'm really curious about is, do you believe that? Right? Like, what do you personally think? Do you believe that the studios allow certain headlines that don't even make them look good to come out in the trades in order to gauge a reaction? Do you agree? Yeah. So from what I see, a lot of people agree just out the gate. Right. Right. Okay, so this is great. This is great. This is good. This is good. This is a good starting place for this discussion. Because I think what we need to realize about all of the stuff that is happening right now, that is being reported, is that at least on some level, the studio is allowing stuff like this to come out to gauge the reaction of fans. 2 days ago, I believe it was 2 days ago, The Hollywood Reporter ran an article, and let me see if I can pull this up actually, ran an article about how there were 3 possibilities when it came to the Flash. Let me see if I can find this. Because, oh baby, we're going deep. And we're going there. See if I can find it here. Give me just a moment. Just a moment. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. Yep, it was THR. Okay, let me get this pulled up so we can peek at this. Let's take a peek. Let's peekity peek over at this. Boom. Okay. Now, why is this significant within the context of what we just said? The Hollywood Reporter came out with an article that said Warner Brothers Discovery are considering 3 scenarios with The Flash. Number 1, Ezra giving an interview explaining the erratic behavior and then doing limited press. That's option number 1. Don't worry, I'll give my thoughts on all of these options. It's going to be a fun experience. Number 2, Ezra plays no part in the film's promotion. Number 3, they completely scrap the film. Okay, so in the context of what we just spoke about, why would an article like this come out giving Hollywood insider information to us plebs about what the decision is for The Flash? Well, we just answered the question. It's to gauge the reaction, okay? And so, according to this report, it is absolutely and completely on the table for them to completely scrap the film. Now, if you go out on Twitter, there will be all kinds of people that will tell you that will never happen and that is impossible. And yet, they are discussing it. And apparently, they've discussed it multiple times just this week, which we will get into. You know, everybody relax. You know, we're trying to get cozy. You know, we're trying to tell a story here. We're writing our own narrative. You know, we're making content. Everybody hold on to your buttholes. Okay? Just relax. We're going to get into it all. We're still in the first act. Let's go through the options. Number one is my favorite option. Okay? Now, the reason number one is my favorite option, and yes, this is callous. Yes, this is shit posty, shit grin. Josh being a butthole once again. But number one is my favorite option simply for the memes. Can you imagine Ezra Miller coming out and doing some kind of an interview in which the actor apologizes for being the fucking worst? The fucking worst, dude. Oh my God. Absolutely incredible content. The memes for option number one would echo in eternity. Like, I feel like Maximus Aurelius at the beginning of Gladiator. If you find yourself getting memes of Ezra apologizing for being the fucking worst, do not be afraid. For you are in Elysium, and you are already dead. Man, I really hope they try it. I just and to be honest with you, that is a very Warner Brothers thing to do, bro. That's a very Warner Brothers thing to do. Number one is my favorite option because I think it'll still end up at number three, but we will also get some incredible memes along the way, okay? Number two, Ezra Miller plays no part in the film's promotion. That would also be kind of interesting, and we'd probably get some crazy memes out of it as well. But I mean, what kind of an option is that? By the way, just so that we're all also understanding the sweet irony of this. This is the thing, man. There's a bunch of friggin' idiots with way too expensive shirts, all in a stuffy room in some high-rise place in Hollywood, that are literally having the discussion, and some motherfucker literally brings it up. What if Ezra just didn't talk? Look, can we explore the possibility of promoting a film in which Ezra is not just one character but two? And could we maybe just have him not do shit for the promotion? That's an actual conversation they're having. Literally playing hide the Ezra on the... I can't wait to see what other questions will be asked. How will Michael Keaton respond? Fascinating stuff. You know, I honestly can't believe that that's really something they're discussing. And perhaps I'm wrong. You let me know, chat. Can you imagine? Frankly? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that would be the move. You know? I don't know. That also seems absolutely ridiculous, if I'm being honest with you. And then number three, they completely scrapped the film. Now, again, many people will tell you that's impossible. That's not true. They would never, etc., okay? Well, I'd now like to talk to you about this. Now, you might say, oh, this is just some random account, but it's being quote tweeted and spread around by incredibly reliable people. A lot of insiders and scoopers say this person is legit and that this information is real, okay? You make up your own mind, not financial advice, right? But I'm going to choose to believe this. And what this account says, Juan Garcia, Welcome to the Nerd Ventures. You are a Nerd Venture now. Make your way around the tower. Enjoy the amenities. Chill, chill. Chill, chill, chill. Apparently, Zaslav got outvoted on Tuesday in regards to the Ezra situation. Majority, very interesting word, of Warner Brothers Discovery Board wanted to indefinitely shelve The Flash. But Zaslav was against it. What? Oh, prelude. So sorry. Welcome to the Nerd Ventures. You are a Nerd Venture now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so sorry I missed it. So he called in another meeting today, which was yesterday, which was Thursday. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. They had 2 meetings this week, okay? And I know some people out there, some of you people are like, Ezra's innocent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck you're smoking. It doesn't even fucking matter at this point, you know? There's so much... Like, look, do you want to go through some of it? I mean, honestly, like, I would almost prefer to have this discussion without actually focusing on how absolutely disturbing, troubling, fucking ridiculous Ezra Miller is. I'd prefer not to. We can. I'd actually prefer not to because I feel like case closed, fucking menace to society. You know? Like, fucking menace. And in a world where, I mean, this is my thing, is like, look, I don't know how to even feel about Zaslav right now, but I'll tell you this, man, like, you know, he came out and he had this big thing, all this vague language, 10-year plan, etc. Wall Street didn't buy that shit. Wall Street didn't buy it at all. That stock price tanked like 17% the following day after that, okay? So Wall Street's not buying that shit, okay? He says he wants to protect the DC brand. He wants to protect the DC brand, but he is against shelving The Flash when the majority of the board wants to do just that. I mean, look, I gotta be honest with you. Like, I admire the business savageness that Zaslav is bringing to the table, but he's not your friend, you know, and he's not my friend. Fuck, man, I don't know if he's anybody's friend, to be honest. This guy seems absolutely ruthless and ridiculous, very business-minded. Okay, like, think about this, dude. They held a meeting on Tuesday after new reports surfaced. About Ezra possibly having a mother and children living on one of his properties, like crazy shit. Like fucking just the latest, by the way, in a series of ridiculousness. And they literally have a meeting on Tuesday where Zaslav, facing the majority of the board, facing all of this stuff, says, no, I'm against shelving it. Okay? So they call in another meeting today. Sounds like there's a shouting match happening right now at Warner Brothers. A shouting match. They're literally like yelling at each other. Like, this is like they're throwing a sandwich at Kevin Feige kind of a situation. You know? Ridiculous. Says here, Zaslav doesn't have confidence and is worried about Aquaman 2. He fears Aquaman might turn out to be a major dud / might be delayed. So he doesn't want to get rid of another property off the DC slate. So he called in another meeting today, but things quickly went tits up. So if I am to understand what this means, Zaslav would literally rather delay or take out Aquaman 2. I mean, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but it low-key feels like Zaslav's like, well, I think Aquaman 2 is horseshit. I might get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of that and get rid of The Flash. Holy shit. What is going on over there? I didn't think in a million years that Aquaman 2 was in trouble like that. How is Aquaman 2 even in the same universe? Like, this is what I mean. Is like, apparently, this all has to do with the quality of the movie. Okay? And so, you know, Aquaman 2, maybe not testing as well. Maybe he doesn't think it's absolutely incredible. And, like, let's be real. The Flash movie, from what we've heard about it, does sound really cool. And it must be the fucking Citizen Kane of superhero movies because it hasn't been canceled yet. And they're willing to eat a bunch of shit to maybe possibly release it. I don't know. But it does have multiple Batman in it. It has multiple Flash. It's got Supergirl, possible other Supermen, including even a Christopher Reeves something, in the movie. So, like, they're so enamored, and Zaslav specifically is so enamored with this actually being a good DC movie, which I agree is like a diamond in the rough these days, that he'd rather get rid of Aquaman 2 and keep the Flash? It's wild, man. It's wild, okay? So this is all stuff that actually, although related to this article we're about to look into here, is not, they're not happening because of each other, okay? It's related in the sense that Variety ran another crazy story, probably to, in some ways, gauge fan reaction. But like what the homie's talking about with like the shouting match, kind of its own thing. Multiple meetings this week. And I believe I saw Grace say that the meeting that happened yesterday is going to be the one that decides it. That the meeting that happened yesterday is going to be the one that's like, okay, is the Flash still going to be around, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this article from Variety that came out yesterday, I really recommend you go in and you read this whole thing. It's a little lengthy, but it actually has a lot of info in it. We're going to break down some of that information, but I'm probably not going to go like, unless you guys really want me to, I'm not going to read this entire article. Do you want me to read the entire article? Because I could read the entire article, I could pause and give you my thoughts, etc., etc. I feel like that would take some time. You know what I mean? Yeah, verbatim. Wow, I don't know. But people, yeah, I say read it. Oh, okay. Well, let's you know what? Let's go to the polls. Because if you guys really want to sit here and read this article, shit, I got time. Shit, I got time. Because I read it this morning. I found it to be riveting. Do we read the whole ass article? I don't want to listen to it, though. I don't want, like, robot voice person happening, you know? It's the only way, Josh. Read that motherfucker. Oh, shit. Oh, God, Grace! Translate into Spanish, por favor. No hablo español, my friend. Damn. Okay. Okay, let's... shit. Looks like we're reading it. Shit. Okay. 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 I'll show you my reading comprehension skills. Let's go back to the 3rd grade. Here we go. Don't care. Boring DC shit. Yeah, well, I care. All right, let's get into it. When Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav spoke to investors on August 4th, the very first question was about his decision, announced 2 days earlier, to cancel the release of the DC Comics adaptation Batgirl, taking the HBO Max production as well as Scoob Holiday Haunt as a tax write-down instead. Bold move. If Zaslav hoped this answer might help to quell firestorm that choice created across the industry, he appears to have done the opposite. That's true, actually. It's a shitstorm. We're even more confused now. Zaslav made public what had been reported and rumored for months, that the company had restructured to create a team within a 10-year plan focusing on just DC that would be similar to the structure Alan Horn and Bob Iger put together very effectively with Marvel Studios president, chief awesome dude, Kevin Feige. But the executive who took the reins of the company in April did not disclose who would be a part of that team, nor did he acknowledge that Walter Hamada, the executive who's led the DC Films unit since 2018, actually has a long-term plan for DC Cinematic Universe that has been in the middle of implementing it. Okay, that's actually really important. That's really important Let's read one more article, and then let's stop and talk about that, okay? And while Zaslav's newly announced reset for DC appear to dismiss Hamada and his team's preparations, the lack of specifics and some mixed signals has created an atmosphere of confusion. It is true, I am confusion. If you are also confusion, do me a favor, just put into the chat, I am confusion. Just curious. And rampant speculation over the future of more than a dozen DC film and TV projects already in the pipeline. Okay, so the reason this is significant is because Zaslav said we have restructured and they have a 10-year plan. Okay, what this article is saying right here, and it is actually significant, is that it is very possible they already had a long-term plan. Hamada and maybe Jim Lee, I don't even know, had a plan to do the Crisis, the Crisis event. Okay, The Flash is a post-credit scene that teases out something Crisis. And so there was something going on with Hamada that was going to be a 10-year, 5-year plan culminating in a big cinematic event. Okay? So when Zaslav says that, it seemingly means I have a different 10-year plan. Okay? So this idea of him announcing it, the idea that this other plan was already in place, this is the thing, man. What are they doing? What's the... I am confusion. Make it make sense. Okay, let's keep going. As it stands, only... And this is so fucking wild, bro. As it stands, only one new DC future project currently has a green light post-merger. Joker, I don't give a fuck, which is scheduled to hit theaters in 2024. The follow-up to the wildly successful, incredibly overrated Joker, which grossed $1.07 billion globally, comes with a much bigger price tag than the first. Both Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips are believed to be getting $20 million paydays, and the new co-star Lady Gaga is getting $10 million. Those salaries, combined with the cost of producing complicated musical sequences... Though one insider stresses Joker 2 is more Star is Born than Into the Heights, means that the sequel will cost roughly $150 million to produce. Okay. You know, we don't even have to... It's fine. You know, get your money. It's fine. But let's be real, okay? They made a cool Joker movie. I actually think Joker's sweet. I don't really understand why it made the money that it made. But I do think that making a sequel that's majorly a musical, mostly taking place inside fucking Arkham, and giving a $20 million payday to Joaquin and Todd Phillips and giving $10 million to Lady Gaga just feels like a big Hollywood circle jerk. I have no idea. But fine, okay? But fine. $150 million, fine. Case is that that's still cheaper than most superhero movies, which often cost upwards of $200 million, like The Batman, for example, which earned a solid $770 million globally in a pandy environment. Writer-director Matt Reeves is on track for a sequel to star Robert Pattinson, and then here's where it gets really, really juicy. But the project remains in development and does not yet have a green light. It's not even greenlit. The Batman sequel is not even greenlit. Okay? And I do think it's worth pausing here for just a second. Because some of you guys were like, and even myself, I was like, I think the Pattinson sequel is probably safe. Is what I said. Okay? But look at these numbers. Okay? The first Joker movie, what was the budget on that movie? Like 80 million, maybe 100 million? And it grossed basically 1.1 bill. I mean, just call it $1 billion. Okay? The Batman, which cost upward of $200 million and probably had a $100 million ad campaign, grossed $770. So it basically, it costs like $50 million? Oh my God. So basically the Batman, I know this might sound crazy, but the Batman, from what I understand it, made its money back, but not really a ton of profit. Okay, did it profit? Yes. Will it continue to profit? Yes. You know? But this isn't like the giant fucking success that I think a lot of people think the Batman was. You know? And if I was Zaslav or whatever, you know what I mean? I mean, like, you know, again, look, I've shit on the Batman enough. You guys know my take on the Batman. But here's the deal. I almost think any Batman movie is good for $600-700 mil. Anyone. You're talking about one of the most recognizable characters on the fucking planet, dude. Like, there was not this crazy swell of excitement and oomph for the Batman movie. You know? Like, it just wasn't there. I think that it had its moment. I think a lot of people enjoy the movie. But it's not this big smash, crazy, awesome success that I think people believe it to be. Could the movie still come out? Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, if I had to bet right now, I would say I would bet on, yes, more of that. But the point remains that it's not greenlit. That since the merger, they have not greenlit that. And according to this article, again, coming out, remember what we talked about earlier in the stream. Remember that much of what is in this article is likely being circulated to gauge the fan reaction. Okay? So, let's see. But the project remains in development and does not yet have a green light. Any future film is years away. Several other DC properties have been in development as feature films. Some for years. Wonder Woman 3 with Patty Jenkins directing. Superman with Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi? Somebody help me out. Chat, help get me hooked on phonics. How do I say it? Zatanna. Interesting. Static Shock. Interesting. But there haven't been any substantive updates on these films since the news of them first broke. A spokesperson for Warner Brothers declined to comment for this story. Meanwhile, the idea of launching straight to streaming DC branded films appears to have been abandoned, or at least imperiled, with the cancellation of Batgirl. How do I say the name? How do I say the name? How do I say his name? Or at least imperiled with the cancellation of the Batgirl. Under Jason Kilar, DC had intended to introduce several less prominent characters on HBO Max before later integrating them into feature films that were targeted for theatrical release. Blue Beetle, which features the first Mexican-American big-screen superhero, had originally been a part of the strategy, but even before Zaslav took the reins, the film pivoted to a traditional release with a $100 million budget. It will now open in theaters in 2023. Now, how many of you saw the news that came out about Blue Beetle yesterday? Tennessee. I don't think that's the same thing. How many of you guys saw the news that came out about Blue Beetle yesterday? No, what happened? Okay, let's pull it up. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, it's pretty wild. Oh, wow. This update account didn't cover it? That's odd. Maybe because it's not good news. Hang on now. We'll get there. Okay, this is part of it. This is part of it here. Which, by the way, I like Nicotina. But very weird GIF that you used here. And yet I'm strangely okay with it. Not the best look. But Blue Beetle was shooting additional photography in the dangerous part of Puerto Rico. This resulted in a gang shooting. or shootout, putting the cast and crew in danger. All cast and crew are now safe. Okay? So, what Casey Walsh says here is, if what I heard is true, and yes, this did happen, this film is in a lot more trouble than people realize, and I understand why the budget has amped up $100+ million. Okay? In addition to that, Great Phase adds here, didn't the star say they've wrapped filming? They're missing a whole chunk of the movie, like 20 to 25%. So, in all likelihood, guys, there ain't no fucking way this movie is going to come out next year, barring some kind of crazy miracle. Okay? You literally had a gang shooting in Puerto Rico. That sounds fucking wild. Like, what? Where? Who's the scout location? The location scout? Like, who picked literally like go to Yonkers in New York or something? Like, what? Like, what did they? That's ridiculous. Like, who's making these decisions? Anyways, that movie not looking good. So again, even though, you know, Variety's saying like, yeah, it'll probably, you know, I don't think so, bro. And so maybe another one bites the dust. Okay, let's keep going. But Batgirl won't, after disappearing. Screening of a 10-week director's cut led to middling test scores. Insiders point out, however, that practically all movies are in rough shape that early in post-production, and Batgirl was designed to be watched on television, not the big screen, and so it lacked the kind of gargantuan, I love that word, gargantuan, very rarely get a chance to use it in a sentence, set pieces that could have goosed its score, but attempting to expand the movie into the big screen proposition would have required reshoots, which Warner Bros. Discovery deemed to be a waste of money. And yet, a Black Canary standalone movie. Like, you can't make this shit up, bro. From the Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Remember when they changed the title of that fucking movie? Anyway, is still reportedly in development for HBO Max. And newly installed Warner Bros. President's Group Chief Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi, in seeking to mend fences with Batgirl star Leslie Grace, are entertaining the possibility of having her continue to play Batgirl in a future DC film, or at least star in another Warner Bros. Production. Okay? Whatever film might feature Grace in the Batgirl cape and cowl, again, will likely be up to whomever Zaslav ultimately empowers to lead DC. By directly citing Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios as a model for DC's future in an earnings call, Zaslav threw more fuel onto an already raging rumor mill over who could get the jab. One example, Greg Berlanti, who oversees many of the DC's television properties, has been loudly whispered, what the fuck does that mean, as a possibility for the role. But no one from Warner Brothers has actually approached his camp. Berlanti has not pursued the job, and insiders believe that the superstar producer wouldn't be interested in going in-house. What the fuck? What does that mean? Okay, so let's talk about Greg Berlanti for a little bit, because, you know, you're going to see a lot of articles and things pop up, right? And they're going to say, like, Greg Berlanti, possibly the Kevin Feige of the DCEU. Okay? I don't know what loudly whispers means. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, what does that mean? A possibility to oversee the role. Okay, so let's talk about Greg Berlanti, because that's what the trades want us to do in this example. It's such a fucking mess. I don't even know. Maybe they're trying to garner something, some kind of excitement, some kind of measure of why people like it. I'll give my take on it. You guys let me know. Why don't you guys loudly whisper to me what your thoughts are on Greg Berlanti? Okay? I like Greg Berlanti, and I think that the Arrowverse and the CW stuff at one time was absolutely incredible. There was a moment when Legends was first getting started, when The Flash was really, like, season 3, really doing well still. Arrow was on its tail end, but decent. There was a moment when the CW universe was some of the best DC stuff that they had done, and it was really, really incredible. But that was just a moment. Okay. By and large, all of those shows dropped in quality pretty dramatically towards the end. Their viewership fell off a cliff. And I don't know who to blame in that situation, okay? Because it's also CW. So CW wants, tween drama, beautiful looking people. Like, it's fucking CW, bro. So was this more of the CW clamping down on Berlanti? Was Berlanti quietly developing this incredible Green Lantern show and his time was taken away from this stuff? I don't really know. For me personally, I think Greg Berlanti would be a great choice, and I would feel more confident in that choice if, it came out that, CW was squeezing him or there was some studio interference or something. Because otherwise, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure because they did get pretty poopy towards the end, right? But honestly, what the hell are we even talking about here? His name's been quietly whispered or loudly whispered. So there's some person on the lot that has one of those disorders where they can't regulate their volume. And so they're running around the lot and they're coming up to people and they're like, "Hey, Josh, did you hear about maybe Greg Berlanti being Kevin Feige for DC?" And yet, nobody from Warner Brothers has actually approached his camp. Greg Berlanti has not pursued the job, and insiders believe that he wouldn't be interested. Okay, let's keep going. Dan Lin, the producer of The Lego Movie and Sherlock Holmes, lamented on the August 5th episode of the Ankler podcast that his work in 2008 producing the ill-fated Justice League movie with director George Miller nearly had him overseeing the entire DC franchise. But Lin remains committed to his own production company, Rideback, and his ongoing production deal at Universal. Well, then what the fuck are you talking? Okay, Dan Lin is a person. Marvel Studios' style of integrating film and TV storytelling would also be far more complicated to implement at Warner Bros. Discovery. Feige runs his own fiefdom at Disney, but any TV productions for DC would also need to flow through HBO/HBO Max chief Casey Bloys and or Warner Bros. TV chair Channing Dunny. Stymieing the independence of whoever would try to coordinate DC film and TV storytelling. And whoever takes the job will likely inherit an increasing headache with The Flash, which faces unprecedented challenges caused by allegations of abuse by and multiple arrests of its star, Ezra Miller. So they're kind of saying, here's a couple of dudes that could do the job, maybe. But the job's going to be really difficult because of this, that. So maybe they can't even do it. However, even with those hurdles, Zaslav remains steadfast in his plans for a single DC vertical, led by an executive reporting directly to him. Until that position is filled, and it likely won't be for months, the status quo continues at the company, with Hamada overseeing DC film under Abdi and DeLuca, the latter of whom has demonstrated his fanboy bona fides in meetings and impressed people at DC with his knowledge of comic book arcana. When he was an executive at New Line, DeLuca developed the Blade franchise and even tried to get an Iron Man movie off the ground well before the character launched in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In fact, the future of the DC film could very well be its present. Holy shit. It's like, I don't even know, man. This is like a self-licking ice cream cone. I don't understand. I am confusion. What the fuck? DeLuca and Abdi have made no secret they want Hamada to remain at the helm of the unit. The unit. A fellow New Line alum, Hamada was brought on to stabilize DC's film slate in 2018 and has been credited in guiding the likes of Aquaman and The Batman to box office success. Hamada is widely respected on the lot for his keen story sense and inability to whisper quietly. He also keeps a low profile in business of big egos, which has endeared him to the staff. But Warner Bros. Rank and file also believe that Hamada has been mistreated even before Discovery bought the company from AT&T. They note that Hamada had to endure death threats after Justice League star Ray Fisher publicly accused the executive of undermining an investigation into misconduct allegations related to the shoots on that film. Many staffers believe the studio did not do enough to back their embattled executive and feel it was unfair that he became the target of Snyderverse fans because that film was completed before he took over at DC. Okay. Snyder fans really don't like Hamada. I don't know if you knew this, but they really don't like Walter Hamada. Some of that, I think, does come from the Ray Fisher stuff. I'm not going to get into the Ray Fisher stuff because that's like a whole nother... It's like a quagmire, right? I don't know what's what. But yeah, I mean, the accusations, I guess, were that Hamada was threatening Ray's career or some shit and was like, yo, you better shape up because I need a man, you know, something like that. So I don't know. Regardless... The point is, what they're saying is that Hamada's fucking mad, dude. And he doesn't like what's going on there. He was getting shit on before the merger. He's getting shit on now. Why would he want to stay? Right? The last straw appears to have been the decision to cancel Batgirl, which caused Hamada to nearly resign. That was widely reported. DeLuca and Abdi convinced him to remain at the studio at least until Black Adam opens in October. Whether Hamada stays any longer appears to be entirely up to the executive. Even if Hamada does remain at his job, Zaslav still plans to transform DC's film and TV efforts from a confederation of semi-integrated productions into a single MCU-style creative endeavor. That's very important. It's pretty obvious that this is what he wants to do, but if you had any doubts, I mean, that's just the word, man. He wants to be the MCU. He wants to be the MCU. Doing so, however, complicates plans for a host of TV titles. Reeves is still planning a spin-off TV series of The Batman, focusing on Colin Farrell's Penguin, and James Gunn is still set to make a second season of Peacemaker, a spin-off to his 2021 DC film, The Suicide Squad. Neither of those projects, however, have anything to do with each other, nor with Phillips' Joker movies. So the point there, like, what that means is that Zaslav wants the MCU, but wanting that puts into question all of these other things that are not actually integrated or connected. Which, by the way, is what many of us were saying when the first thing happened. When Batgirl was canceled, I said, I don't think anything is safe. Expect the unexpected, and I think this is just the beginning. Beyond those projects, DC future on TV gets much murkier. Berlanti's Green Lantern series is still currently moving forward. Sources say it's the biggest, most ambitious DC adaptation ever mounted by the prolific producer. But his DC anthology series, Strange Adventures, has been killed, along with a Wonder Twins HBO Max movie with KJ Abba and Israeli May. Those were Berlanti projects that both got killed, right? So, like, look. In the press, and again, remember who you are. Remember who you are. What did we talk about earlier? We talked about the fact that it's very likely that a lot of this stuff happening in the trades is to gauge the reaction from fans. There were insiders saying Greg Berlanti's Green Lantern thing canceled a long time ago. Then there were Hollywood trade people saying, no, Green Lantern, still safe, okay? According to this report, who knows? Because while it is true that they can't confirm that it's gone, they've already killed two of Greg Berlanti's other projects, right? I mean, who knows? Who knows? The profane animated series, Harley Quinn, currently streaming its third season, has a major following and would seem to be safe, whereas it's still to be determined whether or not live-action show like Titans and Doom Patrol would be renewed after new seasons of both shows premiered this year. But as with all TV on the service, the final decision will be made once the season's on streaming. Then there's J.J. Abrams, Justice League Dark, and just all kinds of bullcrap. Okay? All kinds of bullcrap. It does appear, according to Variety, that they are expected to be canceled, although there are no official comments made on this. But the story was, and yesterday the way that it was being spread around, is that it did seem like these shows were going to be canceled, were going to be destroyed. Okay? So, what's going on? Well, I don't really know. I don't know how to make sense of all of these different reports and all the things that are being said. It would appear, and let's just jump into this screen over here, okay? Here's what it looks like is going on. Zaslav has not even hired somebody to formulate the actual DC plan. Okay? That, I think, is pretty obvious. He hasn't hired... That would be all over the news, okay? So, they don't know who's going to be the Kevin Feige. And I think it's pretty obvious at this point that he's looking to have some good releases until such time that the new person is hired and the new plan gets formulated, okay? And there's a ton of kind of like infighting and like political bickering and like, does because Greg Berlanti signed a massive deal, bro. You know, so did J.J. Abrams. And as far as I understand it, neither one of them have produced anything under those deals. Two of Berlanti's things from that deal just got killed, right? And JJ, I think it's like the Justice League Dark thing, and maybe the Superman movie, right? So I just think basically what's happening is like Zaslav's just pissing everybody off. He is standing in the way of the Flash being completely scrapped. And it seems like he's just standing in the way of that because he thinks the movie will be good and make money. He's seemingly thinking about delaying or canceling Aquaman. The only project that's greenlit is the Joker sequel that's going to be a musical. It's just a fucking mess, dude. It is literally a disaster over there. Blue Beetle, maybe even of no fault of its own, likely to be canceled or at least delayed. Even the Batman 2 has not been greenlit. So they talked about it at CinemaCon, and yet the studio has not greenlit the sequel. I just... like, what is he doing over there? Like, what are you guys doing? You know? My personal opinion, I think Hamada's out. I don't think Berlanti or Abrams will be the Feige. I have no idea who will be this Feige character. But I think that, honestly, like, we can't really consider anything DC safe at this point. I think a reboot is coming. But I just don't know when. You know? And also, too, just so that everybody knows, like, there's no discussion of Zack. There's no discussion of that. So I know that somehow the Snyder fans will find a way within all of this chaos to find a sliver of hope. But he's over at Netflix. He's developing a massive IP for them. He has everything he would need over at Netflix. Why would he come back into this fucking mess? I definitely don't think that's going to be what happens, right? So the latest update, I guess the most important thing to keep in mind as a fan is that the discussion of The Flash is ridiculous. Still could be canceled. any and every DC thing could be canceled. And until we get some sign of like a new creative or a new plan or whatever, it seems like Hollywood says fuck you Zaslav. It seems like Wall Street says fuck you Zaslav. If he doesn't bring back Snyder, which he won't, then the Snyder fans will say fuck you Zaslav. Zaslav is kind of like in the wilderness on this shit, in my opinion. You know? And I still think there's a way out of the wilderness, but I think frankly he is in the wilderness. But if they're willing to eat all of this loss and do all of this crazy stuff that, like, again, is kind of unprecedented, who knows? I mean, honestly, like, who knows what will happen next? What an interesting time, you know? Before we get into Q&A, would you guys mind? And I'm just curious, and let me know if so. Would you guys mind if I talk just a little shit on the Black Adam movie? Would you mind? You know, because, yeah, we just did a whole thing on it. But, you know, like, I feel like Black Adam got away. You know, I feel like Black Adam is just skating by. Yeah. Can we just a little bit? Just a little bit. Oh, I got something for that ass. Oh, I got something for that ass. Because you guys know what a big fan I am of the walking billboard known as The Rock. Such a fan. It's about drive. It's about power.
In any other movie, I mean, for God's sake, can the man try a little? He claims that this is his passion project. He's been wanting to do this for almost 20 years. He's all in.
He loves the character.
He loves the character. And he wants to do him justice. But he can't even bother to look or sound different than any other movie he's in. Once again, he's just bald. Why? You're bald in every other movie over the past 15 years. You couldn't put on a wig and try to look like Black Adam? You couldn't be bothered to put on prosthetic ears to look like him? Shit, just CGI his ears and make him pointy. You couldn't be bothered to have an Egyptian accent? Black Adam has an Egyptian accent. And that's a pretty big part of his character, you know, since he came from Egypt. Not only is your representation of the character looking like shit, but you couldn't even be bothered to do the simple little things to at least look and sound like him. You just wanted to show up to set and play The Rock. Like in every other movie where you just play The Rock. And now, all I will see is The Rock because you look like The Rock in cosplay. You don't look like Black Adam. You don't talk like Black Adam. You don't feel like Black Adam. So I'm not sure if he really loves the character, or if this is just some big vanity project where he gets to look more powerful than Superman.
Damn.
I mean,
Damn! But that's straight facts. That is facts, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, the other thing that's kind of interesting about this is a lot of stuff coming out about comics and like Hawkman's not going to be reincarnated. And I believe the actor said, yeah, that would be too confusing. What? A character that comic book fans have understood for like 60 years? That would be too confusing for audiences if they stuck to that. So who the fuck is this Hawkman then? Like, what? Like, the whole thing's absurd, bro. The whole thing's absurd. And apparently, Black Adam, by the way, at the time before reshoots, it scored just as low as Batgirl. Just as bad. It's just as much of a turd. So, fuck Black Adam, man. You know what I mean? Like, this fucking movie, who gives a shit? I mean, I don't know. Like, yes, I've been drinking the haterade pretty steady, especially when it comes to DC lately. But I'm over it, dude. Like, does anybody actually think that Black Adam's gonna be anything other than absolute booty cheeks? Like, I don't know, bro. Like, if you, like, literally, like, what, you really think The Rock starring as The Rock in a DC movie that doesn't respect the character or comics at all. He's not even the same character. It's not even the same origin. It's barely the same powers. So lost. So lost they are. But anyways, you know, I'm feeling like maybe we were a little too toxic today. You know? Maybe we were a little too toxic today. Maybe there's too much venom. So maybe we should, you know, turn it around. Maybe we should do something kind of positive. Maybe we should talk about some cool stuff. What do you guys think? Is there any good news? Any cool stuff that I should talk about? Anything we should talk about? Should we talk about things? Sony looking good all of a sudden? I mean, a little bit, yeah, huh? Scar! Okay, we can talk about Scar a little bit, huh? I was thinking about maybe doing a whole video about this, but I'm not 100%. I'm not 100%. So there was and this thing dropped yesterday after we were done streaming, actually. Yeah. I know about the Madam Web stuff. I might do a full video on that, actually. Yeah, I might do a full video on that. Let's talk about that PC and how shiny that RGB is. Yes, well, that's actually a good point. But guys, like, so I have this incredible PC, thanks to Paradox Customs. This thing is a powerhouse, man. I was playing Multiverses last night, and I'm telling you, it's incredible to go from like a chugging along piece of, it's almost like a 368, like a really bad PC, to go into like having an awesome, incredible rig. It does numbers, man. I had 1 million tabs up yesterday, and the computer was absolutely fine. You know, and if you're like me and you take nerd venging way too seriously, you too should look into getting a Paradox Customs PC and use code NERDVENGERS at checkout to get some money off the top and let them know that we sent you there. Thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah, man. Yeah. Anyways, getting back to the She-Hulk stuff. So the She-Hulk clip dropped yesterday. It's a really funny scene. We can watch it. Y'all want to watch it? Should we watch it? Wait, where's it at? I didn't retweet this? The fuck? I didn't retweet it? I didn't tweet about it? Well, here's the thing. I'll just talk you through it, okay? So basically the scene is She-Hulk sharing with Bruce her theory that Captain America was a virgin, which is hilarious and also probably true. But then, out of nowhere, and I actually really like this because, you know, look, man, look. DC can't even do Superman, Batman. I mean, some of you, the Batman films. DC can't get their shit together, right? But the She-Hulk show, which comes out next week, by the way, looks like it's going to absolutely slap. And what is seemingly just like a little She-Hulk show is going to just be so juicy and so nerdy and so cool, right? So we knew from the other trailers that She-Hulk and Bruce were going to get in a car accident. And apparently some of his blood will then go into her or something. I don't actually think it's going to be a blood transfusion. It could be, but I don't think it's going to be a blood transfusion. Some of her blood just might... Some of Bruce's blood might go into She-Hulk, okay? So the car crash is sort of the catalyst for her becoming She-Hulk. But what we didn't know, and what we couldn't predict, is that the thing that causes the accident is this ship, a fucking spaceship, popping out on the interstate in front of her and Bruce. And as many have pointed out, this spaceship looks just like the Grand Master's spaceship, and it's seemingly from Sakaar. Yeah. Another big rumor with regards to She-Hulk was that we were going to see Scar, son of Hulk, in the show. Is this related to Scar, son of Hulk, and the possibility of Hulk having a baby on Scar, I don't know. Could be. Either way, it seems really cool, man. And yeah, next week for She-Hulk, I am pretty damn excited about it. We'll do a watch party. We'll do a breakdown. We'll do a spoiler stream Thursday morning. It's going to be fun. So check it out, man. Yeah, it's just wild stuff. I thought the clip was really funny and also revealing some really interesting stuff. She-Hulk's going to be a ton of fun, man. She-Hulk's going to be a ton of fun. Again, like, could it be? I don't know. Pretty cool. The CGI in She-Hulk, though, yeah, some of it looks good, some of it's not on point. You know what else? On the topic of CGI, did you guys see the latest bit on that? Because Marvel's like, you know, crushing all of these VFX artists. Did you see the latest updates to that? So apparently Marvel is considering creating an in-house VFX studio, and they'd be something like, oh, sweet, Kendall, for sure. I'll have to check that out. They'll do something like a, like ILM, basically, where they'll create their own VFX studio so that they don't outsource as much. Kind of interesting. Again, you know, I mean, look, we don't know 100% if that's a total power move, but I do want you to consider for a moment that in a world where Marvel, who has a ton of clients, is getting all these bad reports about how they treat their clients, Marvel's kind of like, well, maybe we'll just create our own studio and we won't have to pay these fuckers anymore. And, I feel like you might hear less about these complaining anymore. You know, that's kind of the thing, okay? Look, I didn't make up the rules. I'm just telling you how it is. That's called battling in the press, okay? I feel like you might see a little less complaining. Anyway, shall we get into DOS? Oh, you want to see the Wolverine shirt? Let me just move the microphone. Just move the microphone out of the way. Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's get into Q&A. And then we'll save time for a couple of call-ins, then we got to get on out of here. Oh, dude, no way. Bro, I swear to God, I had the other thing open for the member chats. I opened it immediately when Lord Vito sent one in earlier, and then it's not open over here, so now I have no... Holy shit! Oh my God! I'm so sorry. I lost the member chats, except for Devin, who just sent his in and says, if Scott was in the quantum realm for 5 minutes and 4 years passed, how much time is about to pass in Quantum Mania? Ooh, that's an interesting... I like that. And also, I can't believe I fucked that up. Ugh. Oh my God, bro. No! I think Vito said much love earlier. That's all I got. That's all I know about. I'm sorry. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, I can get into the super chats, but unfortunately, I did miss a lot of the member chats. I'm sorry. Josh, Papi Chilo, Spanish for cute daddy. Hey, thanks. Can we please watch Critical's video? I'm tired of superhero movies from like 9 days ago. I want to see your take. That's an interesting one. Maybe. What do you think, guys? Should I react to that? Should we take a little pause and do a little react? Should we? I don't know. You want to do a little reaction? What is it? Hmm. 9 days ago? I'm tired of superhero movies. I mean, this is a 10-minute one. We'll react to at least the first part of it. How about that?
A cold, stale take. I'm really not sure. Could go either way. I'm just super tired of superhero content. Marvel shows, Marvel DC movies, I just don't get excited for them anymore. Superhero fatigue, I think, is the term a lot of people use now, which I think is underselling it because it's not just being worn out from so much of it, it's being genuinely put off because so much of it's being shoved down your throat. It's more of a soreness from being face-fucked by superheroes for so long now. Marvel just unveiled like 6,000 new shows and movies on the horizon here, and I've been asked my opinion on each and every one of them. It's just exhausting, because it's like being asked to rate every individual noodle in a bowl of spaghetti. I'm gonna rate them all pretty much the same, because they all taste the same. Now I want to be clear before people get too upset and flipping over their chair in a fit of rage and anger. There's nothing wrong with liking superhero content. Nothing at all. In fact, I still do enjoy watching it in the moment, like I have fun watching them, but it's not like I get excited. But there's nothing wrong with being excited either. You can have a completely different opinion from me. It's just I feel like everything for superhero content is pretty much the same these days. And I think it's important I define exactly what I mean
please
here.
do.
I'm talking entirely about Marvel and DC. I love The Boys and I loved Invincible, and those are both two superhero shows. But they're very different from the Marvel DC formula. Very, very, very far removed from those two. To give you an example, every time Marvel or DC drops a new trailer for a show or movie, I'm always asked on stream to watch it and give my opinion on it, and I always draw the same conclusion, that it was a pretty generic trailer that followed the same formula that they've been using for the last decade. And to go even further, when I watched the Black Adam trailer on stream, I started to guess upcoming lines correctly, even though I had never seen the trailer before.
You can be the destroyer of this world.
Or you can be its savior.
Or you can be...
So that's true. So, okay. So I guess so far my take on this is that I think that it's fair to say that there is fatigue in superheroes. I do think it comes from a lot of normies, though. And I think that, this equivalence of, like, the DC stuff to the Marvel stuff is just totally unfair because, frankly, DC, not for everything, but for, like, stuff like Black Adam, Shazam, even maybe The Flash, it does feel like they're making the movies and the shows that, like, Marvel made in the 90s. And if you look at what Sony's doing, it's very similar. Like, all of the Sony stuff is feeling like, pretty much cookie cutter, Hollywood type stuff that was done like in the 90s. And Marvel absolutely has a formula, but I think that it's super ironic that in a phase where you have movies like Eternals, shows like WandaVision, Loki, Moon Knight, and even She-Hulk, and you've got Spider-Man No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, like, if you're gonna, like, for instance, if you're gonna be like a big hater of Marvel content, you kind of have to pick a lane. Like, do you hate it because it's formulaic, or do you hate it because it's strayed from the formula and now it's all over the place? I don't think you can do both, right? So you can't just say like, oh man, I hate superhero shit because it's all the same. And also, what the fuck is this? It doesn't feel like the old Marvel, or it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? So it's fair, but I do think it's a pretty normie perspective, right?
Be its savior.
What a guess.
The world needed a hero.
It got me.
The Rock needed a superhero movie.
Instead, it got
Oh, I'm nuts! I'm nuts! Let's go! God, this is so fucking generic. It doesn't take a galaxy brain intellect here to piece together what the next lines were going to be. This wasn't exactly like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 with, next you're going to say this, and it'd be really impressive. I think these were pretty predictable lines that most people could have seen coming, because all superhero movies basically have the same bones these days. They follow very similar structure. Every character, again, follows very similar patterns where they're always making jokes and quipping with one another, and these lines in the trailers are always very similar. I have a feeling they're all written by the same team. They just like outsource it to the superhero trailer department because they always pretty much play out the exact same. And again, there's nothing wrong with liking that either. I enjoy superhero movies as well. I have fun watching them. I leave happy. It feels good. And that's as far as it goes. There's nothing wrong with it being that level of entertainment, but it's getting to a point where I'm just really tired of seeing the same thing every time. So now I'm not really leaving happy. I'm leaving bored. Like with Thor, Love and Thunder.
Okay, that's fair though, because Thor, Love and Thunder specifically was super formulaic. It felt completely unfresh and just not in it. It honestly wasn't even as good as Ragnarok, which is so weird because it almost feels like a cookie cutter. Yeah, like that is a good example, but also like you can't ignore Multiverse of Madness, which was literally so ridiculously horror film that it like divided audiences. Do you know what I mean? So like you can't ignore these other things, but it is fair to say that like Thor, yes, very formulaic. Black Adam, absolutely feels incredibly formulaic.
It's not a bad movie. Like none of the superhero movies or shows are like actually shit, like dog shit. There's just so many of them now, and it's hard to care. It also just seems completely aimless. Like there's no goal for these movies anymore. In the beginning, it always tied back into like the Avengers and Thanos and all of that, which was cool. It gave it an overarching purpose. But now they've introduced like a million fucking characters into the mega mix here. They threw like 20,000 ingredients into a stew, and it's just an overload that you can't appreciate, or at least I can't. Again, this is just about my personal.
And again, like we've heard this before. We've actually even talked about this before, right? Because prior to, especially prior to Multiverse of Madness, and then prior to the announcements at San Diego Comic-Con, yeah, it did seem directionless. Now, a lot of us in the know were like, oh, it's headed towards Secret Wars. And in fact, it's headed towards even crazier things than that, right? And there's a lot of stuff being set up here, et cetera, et cetera. But it's absolutely fair to say that a lot of stuff in Phase 4 has not really felt like it has a direction. Direction, by the way, a word that Sony doesn't even know how to spell and Warner Brothers can't pronounce. So, again, fair on a macro for a lot of different things. When it comes to Marvel specifically, they are going to be telling stories that are streamlined and that are going to tie into the big picture of the Secret Wars, and they're going to continue to tell stuff that does not. And I think it's kind of up to us to decide as an audience, like, are we down with that? She-Hulk is going to show us a lot of fun stuff, but not likely to bring us into a Secret Wars thing. It's probably not going to tie in to that. So will that detract away from the enjoyment? Maybe. Does a lack of direction detract away from the connective tissue? Maybe. But again, like, you know, all love to Charlie, but these are very normie takes.
Personal opinion on it, I'm just pretty tired of seeing so much superhero shit. And I do watch all of it still. It's not like I'm boycotting or anything. I still do indulge and watch all of it, except for the shows. I cannot finish the shows. The only show I've actually been able to watch start to finish is Loki. It's the only one I've enjoyed.
Yeah,
all the other
really
ones
good.
I've dropped after like 3 episodes. They're so fucking boring.
You know, and that's fair too. Like the Disney Plus content has not really slapped the way the movies have. Loki is an exception. I would argue WandaVision is also an exception. And even Moon Knight, like, I think the truth is they haven't nailed the Disney Plus show formula with Marvel. They just haven't. And it's possible they will, or it's possible that they're comfortable with what it is. Maybe it's a side dish or something like that. You know what I mean?
And they're just always
we'll watch a
the
couple more
same
minutes.
goddamn thing. I'm watching carbon copies of one another, like just clones. I feel like I'm taking absolute crazy pills here, getting hit by like an insanity beam from space. It really just seems every show for Marvel follows the exact same formula, as well as the movies. I liked the new Doctor Strange, even though a lot of people didn't. I had fun with it, but it's a movie I haven't thought about since finishing the viewing. It's not like I forget that I watched them. Like, I have fun in the moment, and then it's immediately erased from my memory. Like,
but you know what? Like, as much as all of this stuff is like sort of normie complaints, I would actually take note of this if I was Marvel, because it is important to understand where the mainstream audience is going. And like a lot of you guys have been bringing up to me over the past couple of weeks, a poll that kind of Calty did on his channel, right? Where it appears that the majority of folks are actually more excited about Supernatural MCU than they even are Multiverse. And so, like, that's kind of a thing you should keep in mind. Again, it's not going to line up with a lot of our probably beliefs or whatever, but it's important to, like, note that, like, I don't think Charlie's alone
Men
here.
in Black just kicked down my door to take it out with a neuralizer. It's movies that are just fun to shove some popcorn in your face and enjoy, like, 2-hour ride. But that's about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to its shows and its movies, I just feel like all of the superhero content follows the exact same formula. Every character is pretty much exactly the same except for their powers. They're always constantly quipping, making short little jokes with one another, undercutting the serious moments with humor at every step. It's just hard to like get invested when you know.
By the way, this sounds exactly what most people would say about anime, right? And I know he's a big anime guy, but like for real, if you are not an anime person and you go watch some anime, you're probably gonna be like, yo, why is all anime do this, that, second, and the third? Like Elisa hates certain tropes that anime does, right? And they undercut a lot of their shit with humor. And it's like, it's just a formula. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally just a formula. So I'll watch a couple more minutes here. I understand what he's saying.
Exactly how all of these are going to play out. It's also just hard to care when it seems like there's no goal. One thing that really helped with Marvel in particular
he's saying the
is
same
all of
thing
it
over
tied
and over
into the Avengers and getting to...
Yeah. Okay, cool. So he's saying the same thing over and over again. I understand where he's coming from. I don't think it's a bad video by any means. But it's just it's a very normie take, you know? But again, it's probably a good thing if you're Marvel to pay attention to like where the normies are at, right? Because they do kind of make the world go round. And that was only our first super chat, so holy shit, we got to get going. Mr. J. Westman says, just waking up here in Cali. Good morning, guys. Good morning right back to you, brother. Thanks for the love. David says, doesn't Aquaman 2 have a shoe in the Amber Heard and... Wait, what? Have a shoe-in for Amber Heard and reshoots based on Keaton Batman not making sense? Sounds like it might be a mess to me. Have a shoe-in for Amber Heard. I don't understand that question. But yes, Aquaman is probably going to be a mess. Did somebody else understand what he was saying there? Rav says, we choose terrible people to be our politicians and control our lives, but suddenly it matters when it's an actor. Don't give a fuck about Ezra. I want to see The Flash. Oh man, that's like totally your prerogative. But I think you would be, you know, if you think that belief is shared by a lot of people, I think you're fucking crazy. I think, in my opinion, I don't know if there has been an actor or actress that is as hated as Ezra is currently in a long, long time. You know what I mean? I don't know, chat. You let me know. Like, do you think, because even Amber Heard, I think even Amber Heard, like, I think real talk, a lot of people really dislike Amber Heard, and probably rightfully so. But I think that the whole Johnny Depp thing was really more about like his innocence. It was really more about like how society seems to not view men as being able to be a victim. I think there was a lot of stuff going on. When it comes to Ezra, it's just I think there's like just a lot of hate for Ezra. I think he might be the most hated. I think it's pretty bad, you know. So, Lord Vito says, so I don't know if I'm just high or not, but didn't DC originally have a 10-year plan with Snyder where they showed off the next 8 movies? I believe there was a long-term plan with Snyder, apparently a 5-movie arc that he wanted to do. But I don't know if it was ever unveiled. I don't know if they ever really talked about it or whatnot. You know what I mean? Inked Vader 81 says Sandman on Flicks is dopeness. Dude, Sandman is incredible. I actually can't believe that more people are not either watching or talking about Sandman. Sandman was dope, bro. And I don't know. I wonder where the numbers are. Like, has anybody talked about the numbers for Sandman? Because I have no idea. But yeah, it's sad. Mr. J. Westman says, I have been disappointed with Warner Bros. Since BVS. Huge letdown. At this point, I'm like, have some wine, have some food, chill out, baby cakes. Yeah, interesting take. Jedi Knight and friend of Cara Dune says Favreau should ditch Star Wars and head to the DCEU with James Gunn. Star Wars is dead since there's nowhere to go up after Episode 9. They can't survive on prequels only. I don't think Star Wars is dead, but they're definitely in a very tough brand position. And we'll see how they try to navigate out of it. Having said that, the Favreau Star Wars is some of the best stuff, right? So, I don't think he's going anywhere when it comes to Star Wars. You know, Mando is huge, and I think him and Dave are likely going to keep on doing their thing over there. And honestly, it's one of the best shots Star Wars has is to navigate out of this situation is with him. So, yeah, I don't know about that, bro. Aiden says, much love, my man. I look forward to these streams every day. Thanks for being you. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. Much love. Much love right back to you, Aiden. Much love. All right, guys. Should we try to get some call-ins going on? What do you think? Should we call in? Matthew says, I saw Bullet Train last night and can honestly say it's been my favorite movie of 2022. It had so many fun, different cinematic elements. Thoughts? I don't really have thoughts on Bullet Train. It looks fun. It's got pretty bad reviews, and I don't think it's performing well for Sony. And they put a lot of money into marketing that movie. So I don't really have any thoughts on it, to be honest with you. Yeah. Don't really have any thoughts on it. Dr. Doom says Boba was meh at best. Yeah, no, yeah. Josh, watch the Batman pitch meeting and show all the people who think it's a masterpiece how wrong they are. I mean, these people are not gonna... You think that video's gonna show them the truth? I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. Look, it is all good. If you like the Batman, that's fine. It's all good. You know, I can understand why you would like it. But its score has 2 notes, and its main actor has 1. We'll just leave it there. You know, we'll just leave it there when it comes to hockey pad wearing midman. Yeah. Good stuff. Josh, what do you think is better at its best, Star Wars or Marvel? Taking the original 6 movies and your favorite 6 Marvel movies. Oh, I mean, I would say Star Wars. Star Wars did something really, really special. Star Wars, when it's at its best, becomes like spiritual. You know what I mean? Some of my love for Marvel comes from what it's been able to do with comic books. The adaptations of those books into live action is incredible, and we really do have like an embarrassment of riches when it comes to character story content. It's fucking wild, dude. It's fucking wild. Des Brime, thanks for the 10 spot, brother. Says, just hopped on stream. Give Liam some diaper money. No Monday stream. She goes into labor. Sunday night. Calling it now. Good luck. Maybe. You never know. Could be the way. We think Liam could come at literally any moment. So we're getting ready. Took care of some real life stuff yesterday. And yeah. The Madam Web leaks looking kind of fire, my man. Yeah, I'm going to do a video on it. I'm going to do a video on it and talk about it. I mean, it's Sony. So yeah. So that's all I'll say about that. I don't get how Phase 4 has any less direction than Phase 1. Hints are spread out because there's more content. Doom picks Black Panther 2, like Thanos in the first Avengers movies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Jake, I think that there's a recency bias. I think that a lot of people, like, for instance, and I appreciate the 10. There's this interesting thing that goes on where, like, Zaslav says he wants to replicate the MCU, right? But Phase 1, like, I believe Man of Steel made more money than all of the Phase 1 Marvel movies. Okay? So, like, you gotta think, man. Like, Marvel just made some good movies, slowly built, slowly connected things, and then popped off with Avengers, right? Does DC have the patience and the ability to do something similar? I don't really know. But it seems like when he says, I want what the MCU has, he's saying, I want what the MCU had at the end of Phase 3 without having to go through 2 phases. Right? So, yeah. I don't know, bruh. I don't know about that, bruh. Yeah, I know. So, thanks for the 10. Okay. Let's do some call-ins. I'll do a couple call-ins today. Oh, you know what? I don't have the cool new thing. Damn it. All right, I'm going to start a stage. If you are a Nerd Venger member, come on by. Come on by. Oh, the Nerd Jeweler says, if you could work in a brand new guide and direction, what would it be? Marvel, Lucasfilm, Sony, etc. By the way, everyone, have a fantastic day. Under a brand and guided direction, probably Star Wars or Lucasfilm. I'll get into some of those more chats in a second here, but let's get into some call-ins, huh? Wait, why can't I? What the hell? Wait. Why can't I bring anybody in here? Did they change the way this works? Trev.
I'm in here now with you.
Did they change the way that this works? Why can't I invite why can't I get these people that have their hand raised?
Just click on their hand.
Click on their hand? It's not doing anything. And it doesn't have the... What the fuck? Can you bring them on?
I think it's because Q-Wave is also a speaker. Could it be?
I don't know.
Yo, now.
I don't know. Now we got everybody in there. What's up, Kendall?
What's going on, my man? How's it going, bro?
Oh, it's good, man. It's good. I mean, it's always a fun day when I get to shit on Warner Brothers for like an hour and a half, so.
Bruh, the shit fest doesn't stop.
Yeah.
One thing I'm going to say is I got two southern sayings that we say down here in Virginia.
Okay.
You know, the first part about DC, I felt like when Zaslav got in, you know, it was a little bit of things are going to get ugly before it gets beautiful.
True.
But now after some of this stuff that Zaslav is doing, we have this saying out here, it's a little controversial, but it's a different plantation, but the same cotton.
Ah,
that's
shit.
Saying.
Damn, yeah.
It's the same old, you know, same old, just there. So
yeah.
Who knows, man? But I'm not here for DC.
Yeah.
I'm not here for DC.
Yeah, what's up?
Once I get your thoughts, can I get two thoughts from you, man?
Yeah. Hit me.
All right. So first off, when we're looking at She-Hulk, the Scar, how wild do you think we're about to go with Scar, bro? Because like, I did a video and did some research. When it comes to Scar and his implications, like first off, like I think he could be on the Thunderbolts instead of Abomination. I think he would make for a good candidate to be on the Thunderbolts. But beyond that, like going into World War Hulk, maybe him unleashing Worldbreaker Hulk, and then also as well just what we know about when he gets exiled from Sakaar, when he awakens Galactus with his old power. It makes Galactus crave planets that have that old power. I feel like that could be a possibility, a thread that they could use to bring Galactus to Earth.
Yeah.
And tying everything in with Erisham and the Celestials in the next phases.
Right.
So, bruh, the Scar stuff is endless. I'm just curious to see what your thoughts are, to see if, like how far you think they'll go with the Scar craziness, man.
Yeah, for sure. I can touch on that. Was that, you said you had one more too?
Yeah, I had one more. And,
okay.
It's about Giancarlo. I think you saw my tweet about him possibly being powered, like the possibility of using Power Broker to replace Norman Osborn.
Sure. Yes.
In the storyline. Just kind of wanted to know your thoughts. I mean, it kind of gets sort of excited, probably a possibility if they were to flex that and to make Power Broker to be like an Iron Man, but someone in manipulating the scenes from the background. I saw that coming together as someone like Giancarlo direct the Thunderbolts, and like when it comes to doing some like dirty type stuff that the Thunderbolts would do, he turns on that Stan Edgar vibe, and really like dominates the scenes and tells them to go out and do that shit whether or not they want to or not. And then kind of build him up as a villain from that way.
Yeah.
Being that, because I mean, I for him, but I don't see Feige wanting to really give that much of a favor to Sony right now.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I just thought Power Broker could be like a good character who they can easily retcon from Sharon and say, soup him up, like him be OP. That's all, man.
Nah, look, I like both those. Let me, I'll take you out of here and I'll go over both of them, okay?
Appreciate your time, brother.
I appreciate you, bro. Take care, man. All right, so let's get into this. That's kind of fun. Okay, we'll start with the Power Broker thing. So for me personally, I like this idea, but I don't know if you get a person like Giancarlo and do a role like the Power Broker, especially after doing Sharon. Like, I understand what you're saying as far as, they could retcon that and he could be the actual person, et cetera, et cetera. But I will say that if he's Doctor Doom, which I don't know if he's Doctor Doom, but if he is Doctor Doom, it kind of seems like they could be making Doctor Doom somewhat of a replacement for Norman Osborn in the MCU, which I think would be wild. And I would actually be in favor of. That would be really, really crazy. But it'd have to be like, it would be very different from the comics, but like the MCU is already very different than the comics, right? So I like that idea. But, after watching what he said at the Comic-Con, it really feels like he wants to be Professor X. And maybe he won't be. Maybe he'll be somebody else or whatnot. But I really think that Professor X is what he wants. It's possible that he is still going to just be Doctor Doom or whatever. And then maybe Doctor Doom could replace Power Broker / Norman Osborn, because they're damn sure not going to make him Norman. As you said, they don't want to give any juice to Sony. So that's the first one. And then as far as Scar is concerned, I don't know how crazy they're going to go with that, okay? I don't even know if that is technically a Scar tease. It's been rumored that Son of Hulk or Scar would be in the show for some time. There were rumors that Hulk and Scar are going to leave Earth at the end of the series and that they're going to go off to Scar. Maybe that sets up World War Hulk. But Charles Murphy said he hasn't heard anything about a World War Hulk production for like over a year, and he's been asking almost daily. So I don't know what to expect. Do I think it's going to go wild and tie in with Galactus and all of that? I don't think so, but it's possible. I mean, I think one of the things that's so cool about She-Hulk, bro, is like, we don't know, man. Like, it could be anything. They could go that deep. They could go as deep and as heavy as they want. We don't even know what's up with Wong, although it's kind of implied that, like, Wong is just in legal trouble. Yeah, we don't fully know. We don't fully know what's going on, and they can go as wild as they want. Apparently, the showrunner, she wanted to bring in Spider-Man. She wanted to bring in a ton of different characters. Certain ones she was given access to, certain ones she was not, because Marvel already has plans for them. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I like the theory and I like where your head's at, but I don't know if they're going to go that deep. But they could, and that's part of the juice with She-Hulk. I mean, She-Hulk is just going to be such a fun show and explore all of these really awesome ideas and moments. So I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Let's get. Wait, how do I bring people onto the stage, bro? Like, Discord literally, like, changed this. Am I not the person that did the state? I don't understand, dude. Like, Mike, can you join? Is there a way for you to join the stage, Mike? I don't understand, dude. Why is it so weird and different now? Yo, Jedi Mike, can you join the stage? Can anybody join the stage? What the hell? Anybody? Bueller, anybody? Come on to the stage. Jedi Mike, you're on the stage.
Yeah, it's working now. You got me?
I mean, I've got you, but I don't understand. Maybe I did it wrong or something. I don't know.
Well, we'll let Trev beat you down later about the boomer stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I hear you, and the Avengers hear you, and it's a great Friday, man. So what are your thoughts on Andor and the Acolyte? Is it going to be Kenobi level content, or do you think they've gotten through their pandy filming schedule issues, and then you can bring on somebody else? I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate you right back. Thank you so much. Okay, so Andor and the Acolyte. Okay, I'm of two minds of this, really, because Andor looks really good. It looks really different, but I can't get that shit out of my head when the person said they think Star Wars fans are going to hate it. And the fact that Tony Gilroy's not really a Star Wars fan and the show's not really interested in doing fan servicey stuff. I mean, I've got to say, it's just wild that Andor is going to be so drastically different than a lot of the other Star Wars things that we've been getting. And I don't know what to think about it. Like, it shouldn't have production woes from, the pandy, et cetera, et cetera. It will hopefully be of a higher caliber show than both Boba and Kenobi. But I mean, I do think there's an argument here, or a point to be made, that like, if you've got 3 toys on a shelf, one is Boba Fett, one is Kenobi, and one is Andor. I mean, the Andor tour might as well not even be there. You know what I mean? And so I'm interested to see what kind of a draw, because I think there's 2 questions. Is it going to be a better show? That's one. Will it do as well? Because Boba, despite, in my opinion, being pretty whack, landed really well with normies and had really big numbers. Kenobi did big numbers. Is Andor also going to do big numbers? I'm not sure. The Acolyte is also a really interesting one. We know very little about it. The leaks are really interesting to me. They sound really cool. But is there too much, like, sort of damage already done? Are people going to give it a fair shot? Because, like, look, I make this content. I see the numbers. I see the comments. I see basically how people feel about this stuff. And I don't really think there's a lot of love for either one of these projects. So I don't know. Star Wars is in a really interesting spot. Totally different spot than Warner Brothers. Like, it's not that bad, but it's still bad. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to think. I mean, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I kind of feel like Andor might be a show that's like a little bit like What If, in the sense that I love it and I think it's incredible, but it's just it might not do big numbers, So I'm kind of anticipating Andor to not really do great numbers, if I'm being honest. So can anybody else join the stage? How does this work? Can you join the stage or not? Hello? Anybody else? Mike Porter? Mike Porter? Can you? Anybody? Mike? Mike? Anybody? Mike? Hey, Mike! Mike, I think you're muted. Mike? Hello? Test, Mike?
You got me?
I got you, man. What's up?
Holy cow. Hey, first of all, I just want to say, I hope everything with you and Elisa is fine and the baby. We're pulling for you.
Thank you.
Also, I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but a lot of people in this community know Star Wars Santa, and his father and him were in a accident, and there is a GoFundMe page. I don't have that information with me, but you can look in the community and Discord, and I'm sure it'll be there. Also, one thing I wanted to bring up, I don't understand. Sometimes, with my enthusiasm, I don't have the breakdown and speculation tools that you have. But I have enthusiasm, so I'm barely a nerd. And I don't understand for the life of me when people before San Diego Comic-Con said that they didn't understand where Phase 4 was going.
Yeah.
Do you drive on the road and you don't look at a map?
Yeah.
Have you not seen Loki, What If, No Way Home, and Multiverse of Madness to know that this was going to Secret Wars? To know this was going to the multiverse? That's all I gotta say.
Thanks, Mike. No, I appreciate it. I did mention the Santa GoFundMe earlier, and yeah, I mean, obviously they'll drop a link in chat, and if you've got a little cheddar you want to help him out, that would be good. As far as the Phase 4 thing, yeah, I mean, look, I can understand though, Mike. It's not as upfront as maybe it was in those early days, and there's also recency bias. Like everybody just remembers the last 5 years of Phase 3, right? So they don't remember all the way back and how patiently and meticulously it was all put together. So, yeah, I think. Look, even myself, I was like, yeah, it's going to Secret Wars, but there was still doubt until it was like officially out there, right? So. Yeah, it's
well, I mean,
it's strange.
He did say in San Diego Comic-Con something that he said in the very beginning, that there were going to be characters and stories that were going to be on their own.
Sure.
But there was going to be a path.
Sure.
So I do get it, and I understand, even though I have the rose-colored glasses of, everything is great in the MCU, and most people don't have that. I understand that the shows do not hit. I've always liked them for what they are. There has been some strong points in every show.
Sure.
But I understand if you don't feel it. But I also believe that people are going to see every piece of content and are expecting Endgame. And we are on the floor level of this saga, and it's going to take a while. Yeah. But that's all I got to say.
No, I appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for the call and thanks for the kind words, brother. I'll take you on out of here. And guys, I'm actually gonna end the stage. We'll do another one next Friday. We'll do call-ins then. And hopefully I can figure out what the hell was going on with the stage there, because I like to be able to bring people on, et cetera, et cetera. But just to speak on that a little bit on what Mike was saying, I think that Marvel, especially if you look around at what these other studios are doing, I think it's just crazy what they've been able to do and what they've been able to accomplish, considering the pandy, considering all the changes, and just how tough it is to honestly pull all of this together. And I do think it's fair to say it hasn't felt the same, but dude, yeah, there's just a lot of here's the thing, Mike, we could say and try to make sense of all of this and say all of these things until the cows come home. But at the end of the day, the sentiment that's out there with sort of the normies, or the sentiment that's out there with, just more casual fans, that is kind of important. And you can't, I can't convince a normie to feel the way I feel. I can only hope that Marvel creates content in such a way that they can bridge that gap a little bit more. Because I mean, frankly, like, it's possible, although I think unlikely, but it is possible that this whole big thing that he's even trying to do might just not land. Like, you know, I think some people are like, oh, that would never happen or whatever, but it's totally possible. I mean, I think a lot of sweaties are in. Secret Wars, let's go, right? But it's on them to make the normies understand it. It's on them to get the normies excited about it, and it's ultimately on them if they don't, right? Because the audience is just the audience. The audience can act like an audience, you know? So we'll see, bro. Like, I am excited, and I think it's going to be super hyped up, but they can't put out a ton of movies like Ragnarok, or rather like Love and Thunder, and be surprised that people like Charlie make videos like that. You know what I mean? So. And C-Dub, holy cow, another 5 gifted members. Oh my God. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. What else is going on, chat, before we get out of here? Any last minute things that we should talk about? Anything else going on in the nerdy world? I hope you all are doing well. Hope you all are doing well. Excited. Uh-oh. Great Face says, I'm going to say this once. Kevin Feige is not involved on Madam Web. Production Weekly isn't accurate. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Interesting. I'm going to have to do some research. I will just say this. If you're getting really, really excited about Madam Web, I would just pump the brakes. You know? I would just pump the brakes on that one. That's all. Any juice about Werewolf by Night? No, not really. Not really. Sounds fun to me. I think some people might think it's too campy or whatever, so we'll see. Disney bought Bleach anime license. I'm sad. Is that true? Is that true? Madam Web seems like rock. I mean, Madam Web, I don't know, bro. I guess I'm technically more excited about Madam Web than the Flash movie. Let's see here. Bleach? Disney? So it was back in June? Yeah, I don't know about that, bro. It's a rumor. That's a rumor. And I don't know if it's real. Yeah, we'll do a big video about Madam Web and Sony and all that. Because I don't think it's yeah. Do you think Hulk had a kid while he's on Sakaar before Ragnarok? I think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible. Sony's gonna Sony, man. That's what I think. Oh, yeah, my bad. Let me go over these last couple soupies. Let me go over these soupies, and then we'll get on out of here. Oh, my God, it's already 12:30? That's 2 hours today? My God, man. My God, man. Okay, Talented Mr. Griffin says, what will Netflix do after Season 5 of Stranger Things? RM is really going to need to bring it. Much love. Yeah, dude, Rebel Moon, I think, will bring it, though. And I think they've got a lot of things in the works. And after Stranger Things, the Duffer Bros are working on a live-action adaptation of Death Note and another anime. So I think Netflix has a plan. I mean, we'll see, right? Poll Town on Best Batman. Poll Town on Best Batman. Then I'd have to like list all the Batmans and stuff. Everybody knows it's George Clooney anyways, bro. You know what I mean? Everybody knows it's Clooney. Everybody knows. Did you build Korg for Marvel Legends? I did not. I don't have all of those pieces, and nor do I really want them all. So, nah. Is WB holding out on greening the Batman 2? It does appear so. Yes. Nah, Clooney is like so bad, it's like painful. It's like painful to watch that shit. So. Alright, everybody. I think we're gonna get on out of here. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Next week's She-Hulk. Next week's could also be Baby. So we'll see. It might be a little crazy. I'll keep you guys in the loop. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for the support. I had a good time this week. I had a good time today. You know, look, I always love just getting on there, crapping on DC a little bit. You know, am I being too harsh? Probably. You know, is it a little toxic? Definitely. But you know what? I get to be a stinker about this because it's like my show, you know? And so like yesterday as all the news was coming out, I was like, like I'm going to get to poop on DC for like an hour and a half tomorrow. And you know, that's all right with me. Yes, there should be a Prime stream today at 1 p.m. And other than that, guys, we're just going to have to play it by ear. And hopefully I will see you guys in a video soon. I'll see you on stream on Monday, but also I'll keep you updated because I'm not 100% sure what's going on. So, much love. Much love to you all. Get your last minute gambling in. Because as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Warner Bros. Oh man. You know, we haven't done this much talking about Warner Brothers in a long time. It's kind of wild. kind of wild. I kind of feel like Kendall was probably on point, man. It's going to get a little bad before it gets better. But maybe it's just more of the same. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. But what I do know is that this community and this place is truly incredible, one of a kind. And the power of our collective nerding out. Oh man, I think the whole world is starting to feel it. Starting to understand and wake up to the reality that nobody does it better. So thank you. And I'll see you on the flippy floppy.